Hey, today I want to talk about playing a session or going on a session. I just want to talk about my own experiences going on jazz jam sessions, and I was thinking about making a video for beginning jazz guitarists. And then it's always the same things that are important. You have to play with people, go out, have a reality check. That can be very motivating, but also very much devastating. I just wanted to tell you my first session experience because it's very memorable for me. And yes, so as you might probably know, I'm born in Munich and I've been living in a suburb of Munich. It's called Gröbenzell. And funny enough, so our house wasn't too far away from like the public train service that you needed to get on to get into the center of Munich. So that wasn't too far away. And when I walked down that street, at the end of that street, where the public train station would be, there was a music club with live music, believe it or not. That's kind of a miracle for me. This club doesn't exist anymore, but it was very important for me because I was a barkeeper there. I don't know if that's the right word. Like people ordered beer and everything. And I did that for 1 or 2 years, and they had the live music going, and they had a lot of cover bands, but they also had like sort of rhythm and blues bands, and they had one band with one guitar player that I immediately had a crush on, and he played a great guitar. I still really do believe that he's such a great player. He played like a mix of blues but also John Scofield influences, so very soulful, and I was very much attracted to that kind of playing. And that was also in the time when I was 16 and I really wanted to be a musician. So I already had been playing for 2 years, and when I heard him play that evening, I went up to his stage after the concert and I just talked to him and I asked him if he would give me any guitar lessons. And he said yes. And so that started like, I think, a period of 1 or 2 years that I went into the city to get a lesson every Tuesday afternoon, and he like introduced me to the real book. All that I could play at that moment was A minor pentatonic. I vividly remember that. That was everything I could do in the 5th position. And he also gave me like a lot of CDs, and I very often stayed there much longer than 1 hour, sometimes like 3 hours. And I have been 16 and I really started to dress up for the lesson because I had a total crush on him. And I practiced all the time. I still went to school and I needed to get my Abitur. I don't know what that's in English is, like, yeah, the end of the school time. But all that I did is scribble like, chord diagrams. In the school, I was scribbling all those chords all the time and thinking only about music and practicing and going to the lesson that I had with him. And one day he said, like, there's this session at the sort of outskirts of Munich. Why don't you come to that session and play with us? And I was like, sure, I'm going to come. I was so nervous. And I still remember that session was really not in an industrial area, but not in such a nice area where, like it was on the other side of Munich where I lived, and you had to take a bus, and then the streets were very empty and there was not a lot of like houses where people would live in. But there was this club in a sort of in a cellar, and there was that session happening, which was a blues session, I guess. And I brought my guitar, and I was very nervous. I was so nervous, and but also I thought this is going to be it. I'm going to play there and I'm going to be famous. And then I walked down the stairs. The band has already been playing, and my teacher was there, and he already said hi, and it was very nice to me. And then he said, why don't you go and tune your guitar? Yeah, I didn't have a tuner, of course. I never had a tuner for like forever. I never had a tuner. So I asked somebody if he could lend me his tuner, because there were lots of guitar players and everybody could play. And I got that tuner, and it was a chromatic tuner. And I didn't know that that existed because at the time there weren't so many chromatic tuners. At least I never saw one before. And so I tuned my guitar just so that the lights would be green, but not that the right notes would appear. And yes, then it would be time for me to go on stage. And I went on stage, and they played a blues in C. I still remember that. And playing a blues in C wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, because, you know, A minor pentatonic, right? And we started playing. I hit the chords. It all sounded wrong, and I said like, stop, stop. And I screamed to the whole band. They had to stop because, you know, my guitar's out of tune. So then they gave me a tuner, which was the chromatic tuner again, and I realized that I couldn't tune the guitar with that tuner, so I said, no, please, no. Then they were really very kind. They gave me another guitar. I took the guitar, which was tuned, and when I put it around my neck, the strap thing where you have the strap, you know, it broke down. So the guitar nearly fell on the floor, and I didn't let it slip, but this guitar was broken too. And then they brought me a third guitar, and then the guitar was in tune and the guitar strip was okay. And then we finally started playing, and I can remember that I couldn't really play anymore, and that they also asked me to play a solo, and I did play something in C minor, I think, but I was so ashamed and embarrassed. I really wanted to vanish from the earth. I really wanted just to never be there again. And that was so nice, because my teacher came up to me afterwards, and you know what he said? He just said, "That's great, you did it." And that was so much encouragement for me. I really remember that, because I was feeling so really stupid, and he was really like, more or less, welcome to the club. And I like that story, because feeling awkward on a session or being embarrassed, it happens all the time. And I have so many stories like this, but that's, I guess, the most important story. So if you're going on a session or playing guitar with other people and you're making a fool out of yourself, don't be embarrassed, or be embarrassed, but just know it happens to everybody, and it's a part of the game. And improvising is so much making music in the moment. Everything can happen, you know. And if you take a chance and really improvise, it's also really very rewarding. So that's my little story I just wanted to share, and I hope you're all doing very well, and I see you around. Bye.